I guess you can say the idea originally formed from me experimenting and just filming random clips. After my senior year at UT, I felt kind of out of it in filmmaking. I mostly did still frame animated films where I would draw and just have still frames presented out in like a music video slash film. So those were pretty much like the only stories, and I had a severe writer's block. I couldn't really finish any script. I was working on a vampire novel and a couple of sequels to my other film ideas, and I just couldn't get ahead on them. Uh, let's see. I felt kind of out of it in filmmaking in general. I didn't really want to film anything. I let myself kind of go weight wise, and I decided just to film for the hell of it, but most of all, I wanted to get that interest back in filmmaking. Before film school and maybe after high school a bit, I would just like to film random little short films and just film for the sake of it without worrying about like structure, having it really critiqued too much, or like certain restrictions and guidelines to fall under. I just wanted to just film for fun to get my interest back in filmmaking, period. And I decided to experiment. I did a film called Blue, Azul in Spanish. It was a short film in cinema laboratory, a great class at University of Texas in Austin. And I had my friend Yvonne at the time and made him blue. And it was based on the Colors trilogy, so I did the color blue. And I thought, why don't I do something that's a mixture between experiment and just like associated with the color? So I decided to basically make a film around a certain color, and I chose the color red. And after that, I tried to find titles that would work with the color red, and I decided to do Misread and just color the R, E, and D in the color red. But I wanted to make a story really where it was associated with the color red, whether it's love, passion, anger, rage, just the different attributes of the color red and what it represents, and represents that emotion. So I kind of wanted to convey that. And this was very odd for me because it was without a script, but unlike Dogma, it was more genre based. I could have music. So in this, I basically put everything I learned from Cinema Lab with short films, experimental films, Dogma, everything I've learned kind of into one. Originally, I wanted a 35-minute to a 45-minute length, and it turned out to be an hour and 10 minutes. Which is odd. But anyway, I just filmed random clips. So I filmed the earlier stuff first, and by that, with the hacking stuff, I just had me in front of a computer, got the color red of the Google Images, blew it up, turned off all the lights, and the color red was shown. I wanted it completely in black and white with only the color red or certain things associated with the color red in color. After that, I basically had an idea of a story like, what if there's a subliminal message, and then what if it's opened, and then like what if this guy, he's a computer hacker, has a dual personality that's wanted to come out. And at that time I was feeling kind of down, so I just thought about that, and I was feeling kind of out of it and making film, so I didn't know what to do with my life because film was my first love. But what happens when you don't love your first love? What happens when you don't love your passion? I mean, what occurs there? So I thought of playing this character named Jake. I wasn't originally going to act in it, but I thought of playing a broken character. And everyone I notice, including myself, has that little voice in their head that really kind of puts them down and aids what other negativity is heard or told about you. So I decided to be both characters and like have him battle this shadow self, that voice inside your head that tells you you're not good enough, that you're shit, that you're gonna fail. Everybody has that voice that tries to like go against them and try to bog them down and support what other people who don't have faith in them believe in. So I kind of wanted to represent that in this Misread film. But it was a challenge because I was originally going to just have him just say negative stuff, but I really wanted to play a black character and just get like a lot of the rage and anxiety I had in real life out. And it was very hard being hateful. It was easy at first, but then it got darker and darker. And this is one film I did not originally intend to be as dark as it is. Another reason why I wanted to do it is because I've never played a villain before. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if I played a bad guy? And just how fun that would be. So it's not entirely based on my life, but Jake does share attributes of myself as an individual, certainly with the weight and self-doubt, but all the other stuff is kind of like ad-libbed and added in. I don't have as serious problems as he does, and I'm not a computer hacker by any means, but I decided just to have a little bit of myself in the film. Another thing I saw was Donald Trump running. I can't believe it. He's an asshole, and I just was tired of the political environment, Democrats, Republicans finger pointing, and then immigration and just all the hate. So I'm like, why don't I get all this anxiety and stuff and then add it within the world? So that's where I got the news footage and everything where our country's going, why Jake's like this. A lot of people like me in the Generation Y is just like, oh, look at those millennials. They're going to mess things up. They're lazy. They're entitled. Not really, actually. It's pretty easy to say when you got like an entry level job and then you want somebody with 3 to 5 years of experience right out of college to have a job. I'm just saying, that's like not fair. So I thought about that. I'm like, why don't I just get Jake the character, the political environment, the way our world is, and add it into one, and that adds on to his other personality coming out and all the negativity in the world, also associated with the color red. It was very crazy doing the split personality thing because originally I was going to go back and forth, but then I thought to myself, I watched an episode of Gotham where Edward Nigma, the Riddler, he was talking to another version of himself, and I thought of also Spider Man with William Dafoe in that one scene. When you have split personalities talk in the mirror or to each other, it's always back and forth, back and forth. And I thought, if he's in the mirror, wouldn't it be cool if you saw one person on one side and then his evil side talking, but in the same frame? So that's where I really kind of got more into like the chroma key, picture in picture, split half and half effects. And that was very difficult because I've never done anything like that. And it's one of those things in film I feel you have to just like go out there and say you're going to do something. Even if you don't know what the hell to do or how to do it, just set something to do. And before you know it, you accomplish what you set out to do. The following is a couple of examples of the split shots with two versions of me on the same screen. What you're going to see first is a living room sequence towards the end of the film, and pretty much it's the different takes I did, and then which ones I used, how I did it, to make it seem like it was one shot, and then the final version. How you doing, Jake? Take one. How you doing, Jake? How you doing, Jake? How you doing, Jake? How you doing, Jake? What's up, Jake? You? 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 So after the raw footage, I recorded it, put on 2 different frames for my 2 different performances. As you can see here, I go back and forth. What I want to do now is go to see image for color effect, but first blend on picture and picture and put on V2 timeline. Put it on V2 in the timeline. Then I'm going to put the scaling to 100. And we may have to readjust a bit to make sure it matches the previous frame. We're going to line that in the middle somewhere. So it looked like there's 2 of me on the same screen from the 2 separate shots. Position it a little bit to line up with the TV so it looks even from the previous take. And you pretty much just kind of do this on whatever you need to film and have 2 of. And I suggest timing it out if you try this in a separate film or exercise to make sure everything is timed out correctly, because length would be a problem. Unless you're standing still, then you could do a fluid morph transition. Then after that, you need to, if you're going to either color correct it or put it in black and white, you need to make sure the shots line up in color and contrast. See here it's light, now I darken the TV up, but you see a line there on top. So we need to go down to the 3D morph. Doesn't matter what you do, it's going to change the color of the TV and environment, and then you can see the line above the television set. So, 3D morph, like I said earlier. Go to border, switch it to different ones. There's round 1, then there's round video. There's 3D frame, and then there's video. Go to video. The width has a border there, but you can go there, and it does away a bit with that line, so it makes it seem like it's one shot. After that, on the blend effect, picture in picture, you need to render it. And I'm not going to do it on this making, but I suggest also rendering the color effects for the black and white just so it looked to the best quality and play back. Boom, there's me. And now, the final take. How you doing, Jake?
You?
Me, Jake.
Why answer, you ask? Stupid bastard. I am you.
Oh, sitting down there, staring.
You bastard. I want to help you. Help you get away from your sad, pathetic life.
Now here is the restroom sequence in which Jake tries to call his mirror image during the day and how I did that scene. So here you do what you did a while ago, picture in picture on blend. Again, have the scale to 100 to make sure it matches the frame. Then you position it. Afterwards you crop. Put it towards a line on the wall somewhere, or somewhere where it's not as noticeable. It's kind of tricky on this scene, or if you're dealing with fluorescent lighting, but make sure it doesn't look too jagged or uneven. Make sure it looks leveled. And there we are. We're at 2 different versions of me. Now we go to image and get the color effect. Now in this palette we're just going to put the saturation to black and white, or even up the colors again like the previous shot. Negative 100 for black and white. Bear with me here. I'm doing a video recording right now and it's kind of slow. But you just do the same thing on the other track. Just click on it twice to get it another effect on the sequence. Now see, that's a little bit off. So I want to make sure it's leveled. Looks a bit even. Not too faded, not too deep in coloring. Make sure the contrast is alright. And then we render. After rendering, you can now see 2 of me talk in the same frame.
I want to help you. Help you get away from your sad, pathetic life.
So yeah, that was a challenge, and all of it was ad-libbed. It was hard thinking of hateful stuff to say, but it was kind of cool because the more I made up, the more it added to the story, and the more it helped shaping the rest of the film and what it's going to end up being. Misread is more of an experiment. I never intended to take it to a festival. It was just something I wanted to do in a series of short experimental films. And it's something to get my interest back in filmmaking, which it has. I mean, I haven't been this excited just to film anything in a long time. I feel like a freshman in film school, going out, finally getting to make a film again. And it's great to have that feeling and just to do whatever you want. Most of all, I wanted this to be a little bit different, and it's kind of difficult having a film like this because I'm not sure what the audience is going to think, but for me, it's just a personal film. So I really don't care what audiences think, but if they like it, great. If not, I just hope they get out of it is just looking at our world and the way it's heading and all the negativity and racism and just like what's happened to America. And can we make America great again? Not what Donald Trump says. We don't need to build a giant ass wall. This nation was built on immigrants. And I feel we need to just keep our eyes open before we let all this hate and nonsense bigotry just cloud our judgment and just sink us into a deeper hole. And we need to be aware that the middle class is struggling, and we need to keep the middle class, because without the middle class, this whole country's done for. It's just the 1% and the poor. So we have to keep an eye out for that. So it was basically just a culmination of just like all my anxiety as an individual and filmmaker and the world around me. And it's strange because I'm not like the character Jake, but I am like the character Jake in a way. And it was kind of like a dual thing where me as an actor and filmmaker was going through the same thing Jake is. It's like there's this world around him, stuff's happened, but there's like this other part of him that wants to come out. And he's like struggling with that and struggling with all his fears and anxiety that just like kind of like bogs him down and like really kind of makes him a shell of his former self. So I saw a lot of parallels. So it's almost like Jake struggling with the shadow self was my fight making a film and doing something creative again. And this is just like to keep up the creativity before it's fully gone for me. So I can keep that first love, first passion while I'll do other things in life before I make a feature film. A really long feature film that actually has a story and multiple actors. Another thing is that it was very low budget, so I decided to have it all in his head. I decided to have it all in his head because I use the same locations: my room, some parts of my house, another person's house, and then my car, and then a hotel. That's all. Very few locations, very few actors. You hear some voices, you hear myself, but not many actors. So that's when I decided to have it all in his head. So that explained, like, when you watch it again, that explained the closed-mindedness and the closed sets in the same locations used over and over as a representation of his subconscious and his mind. The additional voices was hard. I wanted one of my other friends to voice Battle Cry, but he was really busy, and I kind of gave it to him in a short time, so I ended up doing the voices, all the voices and the phone voices. I ended up changing my voice, and then I put it through a filter. So I was pretty much like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And then I put it through like a Bane filter for Battle Cry. Hey Battle Cry.
Hey man, how you doing?
And then on the other one, I pretty much did like a scream voice, so I was like, "He's not okay, Jake.
It's not okay, Jake.
You and your friends will be hunted down." Look, it's one thing going after me, but other hackers, friends of mine,
Those friends of yours will be hunted down.
I did that and then basically lowered the octaves down and put the 2K high up on the audio meter so it make it sound like that phone voice, and it made it echo and kind of feel kind of like through a tunnel. I also did the same with my nephew. He played the character of Todd. That was fun. Short little role, but he always has to die in my films. He died previously in The Hit.
Oh my god. I swear I have the money. I swear to God.
God's gonna sit this one out.
And then again here, and it was a little bit fake, but it was good. And it went out of focus and out of sound on purpose. I really mixed it up on this and didn't use all recorded sound. I used natural recorded, just anything. I just filmed and just mashed it into the kitchen sink in this one. My friend Nader Ibrahim, he's a great musician, has a band Nader in the Trees, and then he's a great filmmaker as well. So it was great. He actually can change voices a lot, so I was happy to use him as an actor to play the doctor, and he switched to like a British accent, and it was great because he sounds nothing like that in real life, and it just goes to show his tremendous talent as a voice actor. Yeah, my friend is a Renaissance man. The eye part was crazy. I actually was postponed filming for a week because I had a sty in my eye, like an eye infection. I haven't had any since I was like 6 years old. It was crazy, and I thought I was going blind, and it really got me out of it. So instead of losing a week of filming, I decided to use it in the film and act like I got punched in the eye. So like the whole film is like interludes, and it really changed the format of the film and really gave it shape. Because before it was just going to be like a film noir with me telling a story, dot 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 dot, and then over after that. So the interludes allowed the character of the doctor, but then it also gave me an idea for the ending with the red peel and it being all in his head, and the red siren actually really being a subliminal message from the shadow government, and the whole movie taking place in Jake's head and before he's dead. So it really gave it shape and really added another layer to the film that really kind of kept it going and kept the momentum going for the story, I feel. So I basically filmed it with my iPhone here, and here's some raw footage. Everything was in color, and my eye really looked swollen. It looked like Mel Gibson at the end of The Road Warrior. It was insane.
You're asking if I found something evil? Something hidden? Depends on your definition. But what I found was not hidden, but it was evil. More evil than you could possibly imagine. And it was in plain sight the minute I discovered it. And I was looking forward to tomorrow. But I guess you could say a person like me looking forward to anything is somewhat of a paradox. Depends on what, you ask. If you like something of a paradox. The greatest trick the devil's ever pulled is making people believe he's not real. Trust me. He is. And just like God, he's living in each and every one of us.
The song was crazy. I was looking for songs associated with the color red for the fight, and originally it was going to be UB40's Red Red Wine. But it wasn't fast-paced enough. I needed a fast-paced song for the fight, so that didn't do. So I was looking for others, and I saw 99 Red Balloons by Nena. Did some research on it, and I really love the German version better, Luftballons, which is air balloons. So that's how that song got in there. It was a really catchy tune, great 80s music, and it really worked for the fight and the overall message of what's going on in the world and within Jake as an individual with his subconscious, this malevolent being trying to take him over. Like any Huey Lewis in the news? They're alright. I'm thinking of one song, 99 Luftballons by Nena. Great song. I don't know if you know the meaning behind 99 Luftballons? No? Well, let me tell you. Pretty much, it was translated in the States as 99 red balloons, but it was really Luftballons, which in Germany means air balloons. The whole premise was during the Cold War, since, it's an 80s song, and pretty much somebody lifted, aired up, released 99 air balloons. USSR, United States, just everyone thought it was like UFOs or an attack on the other countries. So they unleashed all their nuclear arms, and the whole world ended due to 99 fucking air balloons. Can you believe that? I can't. You feel like listening to some music? I'm thinking of putting on some 99 Luftballons. Ooh, let's hear it in all stereo. Sing ovation, leafadation, 99 to Jupiter. Da 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 da. They're gonna say that soon. So great that I'm finally gonna take over for you. Ooh. And make you great again. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, can you feel that? Oh yeah. Ooh, let's hear it in all stereo. Sing ovation, leafadation, 99 to Jupiter. Da 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 da. We're gonna say that soon. So great that I'm finally gonna take over for you. And make you great again. Here we go. Yeah, can you feel that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
gonna stop you.
You're gonna stop me?
I would not let you hurt anyone else.
Really?
Overall, it's a quick experimental film. I'd like to see what other film I'll do next, but my interest in filmmaking is definitely back, and I hope you guys enjoy this little quick exercise. It says short film, but it's an hour and 10 minutes. It went over a little bit longer than I thought, but I hope you enjoyed this making, and it's just a little sneak peek of what I did making this experimental film. If you want to see any other films I've done, check out the Frederick Lopez channel on Vimeo.